If you do it yourself, you've got privacy, but it's all on you. You can make a lot of mistakes and not lose your funds. It can be daunting to go, what do I need to keep and where do I need to keep it? And all those things, rolling your own multi-sig wallet.
BTC Sessions is dedicated to educating the masses on the intricacy of Bitcoin self-custody. With a vast array of instructional videos catering to both beginners and advanced users, Ben covers topics ranging from basic guides to sophisticated custody setups and technical pursuits like running a full node. Ben is a sought-after guest on podcasts and hosts his own show, Why Are We Bullish? Today, Ben guides us through the essential steps to streamline your Bitcoin onboarding and self-custody process, shedding light on the potential benefits and challenges associated with several self-custody solutions. Oh yeah, stick with us to the end to hear what Ben thinks is a joke for the price of Bitcoin. Are you bullish enough? But before we do that, I want to introduce our sponsors, Stampseed, the Orange Pill app, and Swan. Our partners are businesses and people that we respect and are products that we at Bit Intelligence personally use. You're watching 21 Voices. Without further ado, here is Ben Perrin in Madeira, Portugal.
For any person that's like new to Bitcoin, your number, your 1, 2, and 3 that you need to do is, how are you going to obtain Bitcoin? What's your source? What exchange are you going to be using? All that kind of stuff. Number 2, just your initial self-custody into a hot wallet, figuring out how that works so you can practice. And then number 3, choosing your hardware. What device works best for you as an individual? What do you like for an interface? What do you like for a device just in terms of user experience? What works best for you? Pick a device, go with it. If you can do that, get Bitcoin, learn self-custody, and get some hardware, you're so much better off than the majority of people on the planet when it comes to Bitcoin. There's stuff you can go beyond that, but it's all icing on the cake. It's all cherries on top. Maybe you want to learn about nodes. Maybe you want to learn about multi-sig. Maybe you want to go down some of those rabbit holes. But get those first things first. Get that self-custody. Get some hardware. You're going to be flying. If you self-custody in a hot wallet with a small amount to start, maybe you got a few $100 sitting there, and you just figured out, okay, I got this here, and you know how to back it up, you know how to restore it. The same key tenets apply where, you've got a handful of 12 or 24 words written down on a piece of paper, and you understand there's the key to my money on my phone, but if I delete that app or I smash my phone or whatever, I've got a spare key in the form of 12 or 24 words, and I can put that key onto any other phone with any other app. And so if people can understand that, then they'll be able to make the leap from a software wallet to a hardware wallet, and the same lesson applies. There's a key on this device. If you break it, you got a backup that you can import to any other device. I'm a fan of both forms. Each come with their own trade-offs, right? You can do it yourself. Tricky bit with that is there's a lot of moving parts, and while it is more resilient to human error, you can make a lot of mistakes and not lose your funds. It can be daunting to go, what do I need to keep and where do I need to keep it? And all those things, rolling your own multi-sig wallet. Collaborative custody multi-sig, I quite like in the context of you're really hedging against yourself screwing up. And if you're not around, you're hedging against your family not understanding what to do, because there's a company involved that while they can't rug pull you, they can help you. And so again, the idea with collaborative custody, company holds a key, you hold the rest of the keys. You always have enough keys to move your money on your own without the company. But if you screw up and you start losing things, you can always go to them and say like, hey, I need you to use your key in combination with one that I have left, and we're going to be okay. We can move that money. Same thing can happen with your family, where you can say like, hey, you've got these keys and everything. If all else fails though, proof that you're next of kin, things can be sorted out legally, but eventually that company will be able to use that key in concert with whatever they've got left, and help guide them through that process. I think it's such a great tool, and you're not subject to rug pull risk. The only trade-offs that you have in some of those situations is if you do it yourself, you've got privacy, but it's all on you. If you do it in concert with a company, there's a company that knows the Bitcoin exists in the vault, but they can't take it. I tend to think of this in terms of buckets of risk. What types of risk am I trying to hedge against? Well, one of them is human error and screwing up and my family not having access to anything anymore. And so like a collaborative custody model in that instance, to me, makes a lot of sense. If I screw up, I lose some keys, or if something happens to me and my family can only, out of the 4 things they're supposed to keep safe, they only have 1 left. They could lose 75% of all the things they're supposed to keep. And they still be okay as long as they go to the company and say like, hey, we're next of kin, here's proof, blah, blah, blah. They're gonna make it. But then there's also top-down kind of government confiscation risk and things like that. And so maybe somebody might evaluate that and say, I'd like to have some Bitcoin that maybe nobody knows I have, that I've purchased peer-to-peer, and maybe I have that in a single sig or a multi-sig that I've done myself. Or again, maybe I have a pool of funds amongst a family that I've done a multi-sig with, or again, a single sig that's hidden with a passphrase. I think people are going to look and try to decipher and say, okay, well, this is my bucket for if I screw up or if my family screws up, are we still going to be okay? And I think that's the most likely problem people are to encounter. And so that bucket might be bigger for some people based on their perceived risk. But some people may say, there's a chance that that gold confiscation act comes back around and happens with Bitcoin this time. And in that case, I'd love to have some Bitcoin that people don't know I have, and I'm going to custody that in a way that's different, that I feel is secure from that type of risk. So I think people will evaluate where they think the risk is, and they'll allocate Bitcoin in those buckets based on their preferences.
Please bear with us for a quick message from our sponsors. These videos take a lot of time to make, and we've partnered with brands we trust like Stampseed and the Orange Pill app in order to get the funding we need to bring you these videos every week. Don't store your Bitcoin in cold storage without stamping your seed phrase on an indestructible titanium plate. Stampseed is fireproof, rust-proof, impact-proof, and easy to hide. It has no loose parts and will give you ultimate peace of mind that your Bitcoin is safe and sound for the long term. Click the link in the description below for 15% off your stamping kit. When I finally got Bitcoin, it hit me like a lightning bolt. It was the currency of the future, the only money that truly mattered. But there was a problem. I didn't know anyone else that thought like me. That is until I discovered the Orange Pill app. Suddenly, I was connected with a network of like-minded Bitcoin enthusiasts, right in my own city. The Orange Pill app is more than just a social network. It's a community of passionate individuals determined to change the world, one Satoshi at a time. This series is brought to you by Swan and created by Bit Intelligence. Remember to like this video and subscribe to both our channels for more videos like this every week. Thanks for watching.
It's also the first time that in like just what you described, key here, there, and there. Where is that Bitcoin? It's in all and none of those jurisdictions at once. And again, like you see other parts of the world where draconian governments come down upon their people and they shut down bank accounts to cut off funding. What gets used? Bitcoin is beginning to be that tool for those people. And so, yeah, I mean, Bitcoin appeared to have attracted people of certain political leanings in its early days, but we're getting people of all walks of life in Bitcoin now. It's pretty clear that it's not just useful to one class of people, it's useful to everyone at some point for some reason. It's funny because I think all these things are gonna start playing out at the same time. And when that happens, I think 600K is a joke, because it's like, what is $1 worth? I think basically everything we've spoken about, whether it be Bitcoin as a tool for human rights and freedom, whether it be Bitcoin as a tool to save yourself from currency debasement and save yourself from the insidious nature of the fiat system. I don't think there's a lot of brakes left on this train. People are going to begin waking up in droves. I think people are going to realize the source of a lot of their problems is the existing system, and they're going to start to see this as the alternative. In terms of what that does to price, oh my God. If all that were to start snowballing together, again, I think 600K is a joke. People will realize that, and they'll be jumping to the only thing that can realistically preserve their wealth, not just for their lifetimes, but for their families, for their great-grandchildren's great-grandchildren. And you can stow it away. You could even time lock it for your great-great-great-great-grandchildren, and they'll build dynasties with it. So I think there's no limit to the upside because there's no limit to the dollar's downside, is my answer.
Ben's audience has gained invaluable insights into optimizing their Bitcoin system from buying and securing to even using, if you have the goal of living on a Bitcoin standard one day. BTC Sessions is your go-to guide to get you there. As the price of Bitcoin rises to prices you've never even dreamt of, you're going to want to know your money is as secure as it possibly could be in our modern era. If you don't already, go over to Ben's channel and give him a follow. Stay tuned and remember to subscribe for the latest recaps, insights, and films about all things Bitcoin. This is 21 Voices. If you want to watch another episode, try this one here.